First, starting today, schools across Alabama can begin the process of reopening of campuses for athletic training. So what should athletes and trainers and coaches expect?
Well, joining us right now via Zoom is Lee Willis, Morgan County Deputy Superintendent and Athletic Director there. Lee, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Give us an idea of how you're handling the return of athletes for training in your area out there.
The biggest way we're handling it is that our first step is to educate our student athletes as to what the proper procedures are in order to help them to remain safe and to follow the Alabama High School Athletic Association guidelines. And then we'll also be acclimating them back to getting into routines and conditioning. No one should expect a full-blown workout. It's going to be a very measured approach, and we have to take this as our first step and try to attempt to see how this is going to work. This is our first time that students are going to be back on campus and doing these types of activities.
A very measured approach, you say there. Only certain personnel will be allowed, right?
That's correct. Only school personnel are allowed on campus outside of the student athletes. That's to help reduce the amount of contacts, and we'll be breaking them into groups. And we have some schools that will begin to that day and some schools that will not. Some programs will and will not. It just depends on those coaches, as they are the most focused about student athlete health, because they know if their athlete is not well, then that can affect the entire team. So they're going to break them up into groups and try to make sure everyone stays separated and safe.
Other ways of social distancing for those coaches? I know you said you're going to break them up into groups, but how else are you guys going to incorporate those social distancing measures?
So when they're outside, they're able to spread out quite a bit more, and they'll be rotating groups from outside activities to inside activities. Once they go inside, a lot of times they'll have masks on. They'll be having to wipe down equipment before and after each person's use, each group's rotation into those areas. We're going to also try to make sure that we monitor who is on campus at that time, and those people that should not be there will be asked to leave.
We understand, Lee, that practices can't start until July 27th. Is that correct? That we're understanding?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And we hope that this will be our first step toward having athletic events this fall. And a lot of focus is on, and a lot of people are watching to see how this goes over the next few weeks.
So how do you make that transition between like getting the workouts in right now and to eventually kind of some close contact sports like football?
Well, that's going to be interesting as we follow this, how each community reacts in each school community. If things go well, and we hope they do, and our athletes are able to stay apart and stay safe, and if the virus numbers are able to hold at some point, then there may be those possibilities of having contact sports and volleyball this fall opening up as normal. Now, it may be some changes to that. There may be some need to wear a mask in certain situations and those things. This is a really good barometer test of what we're able to do moving forward.
And one of the things that stays the same, obviously, is all student athletes, they have to have their physical ahead of time to participate in all of these workouts, correct?
That's correct. They must have a current physical up to date and some other paperwork that has to be done, such as concussion forms and so forth. But those things are routine, and we're just asking to double check that. You know, we're going to have coaches out there in sports. They're going to be checking temperatures when student athletes come onto campus and make sure that everyone's healthy before we begin. And it's very critical, because if one student athlete is diagnosed, then that's an entire group of athletes that coach and team may lose for 2 weeks.
Paying very, very close attention. We wish you all the best. Obviously, we're seeing this new normal out there. Lee Willis, Morgan County Deputy Superintendent and the Athletic Director. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Time now 6:09 on your Monday morning.